viewers, and welcome to this edition of NTV Sports Page for Wednesday, the 13th of September. I'm Curtis Morton. In our headlines, Windy's selectors name women's squad, and in our feature for this evening, we speak with former tennis champion Mr. J.W. Parry. Take this break and I'll be right back.
Salt is an important part of the human diet, but most of us consume more than we realize.
Consuming excess salt can lead to heart attack, high blood pressure, and even stroke, and other health-related conditions such as kidney disease.
As a hypertensive patient, in my home, I reduce salt intake by not adding salt during the preparation of my food, not having a salt shaker on my table, limiting the consumption of salty snacks, and choosing products with low sodium content.
If you gradually use less salt, you will gradually want less salt. Eating less salty food will reduce your cravings for salty food.
Do you know that common baked goods such as bread and crackers are high in salt?
Did you know that there are certain seasonings that contain more salt than you actually need? There are more natural, healthier ways to reduce the salt intake in your dishes by using natural things like onions, garlic, seasoned peppers, and even thyme and merengue powder.
Consuming foods like bananas, potatoes, and dried peas and beans such as lentils and kidney beans contains potassium, which helps to reduce salt in the body.
You can lower your salt intake by reducing salty foods, removing table salt, and using salt alternatives when cooking.
Most people consume excess salt from processed foods, such as snack foods, processed meats, instant meals, and condiments.
Instead, use fresh vegetables, ground provision, fresh meats, and natural herb seasonings, just like our grandparents did, and just like you did with this soup.
Get salt smart.
I am salt smart.
Let's get salt smart.
We are salt smart.
Well, I'm back and we start with cricket. The Cricket West Indies women's selection panel has announced a 15-member squad for the tour to Australia in October. The 6-match series comprises of 3 T20 internationals and 3 one-day internationals. The full squad reads: Hayley Matthews, captain; Shemaine Campbell, vice-captain; Aliyah Alain, Shamelia Connell, Afi Fletcher, Cherry Ann Fraser, Shabika Gajnabi, Janelia Glasgow, Chinel Henry, Zayda James, Dijanaba Joseph, Ashmini Munisar, Karishma Ramharak, Stephanie Taylor, Rashada Williams. The match schedule: 1st of October, first T20 at Sydney; 2nd October, second T20 at North Sydney Oval; 5th October, the third T20 at the Allan Border Field, Brisbane; the 8th of October, the first one-day at Allan Border Field, Brisbane; the 12th October, the second one-day at Junction Oval, Melbourne; the 14th October, third one-day at Junction Oval, Melbourne. Now to football. Women's football is back with the resumption of round 2 of the 2023 Elvis Star Brown Women's League. In this report, we present you results, highlights, and interviews with coaches and the player.
The second round of the SKNFA Elvis Star Brown Women's League resumed on Saturday with 2 matches at the Warner Park. Rams Village Superstars losing to Nagico Keon Rockets 2-0. The goals coming from Latoya James of Keon in the 15th minute and Jasonna Williams in the 70th minute. After the match, we spoke to Keon's coach Tyrone O'Loughlin, who said while he was happy with the win, he believes his team could have played much better.
Big win because we get 3 points, but the playing really getting up to the standard what we're looking for tonight, because I don't know, because they ain't so fit and the long break, ladies being come to football, or if something happening, they will come out and play. So it's the first week of training, and the fitness is what take part in them tonight.
Are you able now to probably keep them motivated, knowing that the league has restarted or resumed rather, that you'll be able to keep them fit?
Well, yeah, I think we can keep them motivated because we practice Friday, and Friday with ladies, nobody go out, and suppose I get 11 players last night, so I think they're motivated to go forward, but the past couple of weeks they just didn't shine. But going forward, I think they'll be all right.
Pacey Francis, a player with the Village Superstars women, said they started the match short of a full team, but they did well under the circumstances.
All in all, it was a good game, but the problem is we don't train. As you can see, first half we played short. And we still, to me, we did a great job playing short. Then, second half, we step up the momentum. Well, I thought the scoreline would have been more, but as you can see, we hold it up. Because, as you can see, like I said, the girls, they got a bit, lackadaisical. So, I think the long break messed with the team. Well, hopefully, as of Tuesday, we start training, so we could, be on top and be in the finals.
In the second match of the doubleheader, Newtown United ladies defeated MFCR United Old Road Lady Jets 4-0. The goals coming from Sharima Blake, who scored a hat-trick in the 12th, 27th and 38th minute, and Caitlin Forbes rounding up the victory in the 87th minute. Coach Shashi Isaac of Newtown said it was difficult for his players to be prepared for the resumption of the league.
Very, very difficult because, from that long break, with no reason of why the break was done for so long. It was very difficult getting back together, getting back in groove of things. So I just tell them play basic, communicate, do the simple thing first, and let we get ourselves back into the game. Yes, we get the first goal, and that was goal. We keep going, and that was it for us. Well, I think from this victory, I think they should be very much motivated to go on and keep winning. This was a very, very, very good victory for us. We really needed this one from the last encounter with them. I think we bounced back from that, and I think it was good.
Coach Roger Hendricks of Old Road Lady Jets also said that his players were getting back to fitness after the long layoff, but believes it won't be long before they're playing at a top level again.
True, you had a long break. The girls them started training later. Monday we start come back on the training pitch. And I think that's where we don't fall. They ain't fit. We took cases and we pants down. But all in all, we have one game to go. And that's the two top team leading the team right now. So next game we should bounce back.
The Elvis Star Brown Women's League continues this Wednesday at 7 p.m. when Newtown United take on Rams Village Superstars at the SKNFA Technical Center.
Thank you very much, Andrew Huey. We'll take this break and I'll be back with our feature for this evening.
My name is Ernie Stapleton. I'm the Permanent Secretary with responsibility for the Ministry of Communication Works and Water Services. I am here at the reservoir at Hamilton Estate, and indeed we have other reservoirs throughout the island of Nevis. Now, these reservoirs, they came about through a project under the CDB Water Supply Enhancement Project. And this project required certain data and information. One of the sources of data that we gathered was from the census data that tells us the number of persons living in the different areas on the island of Nevis and how many of these households are connected to the Nevis water supply system. The data is also important in terms of planning so that we can plan ahead in terms of the water supply and our water demand. The data is also important for us to see the trend that are happening in terms of the water demand on the island. This census will provide the relevant data that we need to formulate policies and to help us to plan ahead as to where we can continue to supply and transmit water on the island of Nevis. It's you, me, us, 2021 census, hashtag be counted.
Well, I'm back, and tonight tennis is in the spotlight. Tonight, we speak with former Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Joseph Parry. I know you did not know this. He was a former tennis champion, or he is a former tennis champion on Nevis. Let's take in this. I have the privilege of speaking with my former history teacher at Charlestown Secondary School, Mr. Joseph Walter Parry, J.W. Parry, former Premier of Nevis. Now, most of you do not know this, but Mr. J.W. Parry was a star lawn tennis player. Whether you want to believe it or not, because this historian used to be very athletic at one point. I don't know if he still is, but I know he was. Mr. Parry, in those early years, talk to us about lawn tennis in Nevis. What used to happen? Where was it played? Who played?
Well, that's very interesting. At the government house, where the administrator used to live, there was a grass court there. They used to have tea parties, and the elites of Nevis, dressed in white, used to go out there and play.
Okay.
Of course, I never praised those guys. All Paris, everybody talked about
Jimmy Swing.
He used to be a ball boy, and he became the outstanding.
So he was a ball boy at those sessions?
Yeah, he's
just collecting the balls.
His grandfather's house was just
so he collected the balls, and then he became...
Yeah, he became an outstanding player. Then you had the Nevis Crowd Club, which is overgrown now, next to Pinnis Beach.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
They had a hard court. Maybe they had a grass court eventually.
And that wasn't restricted to elites. That was everybody.
You know, when I was a boy, I used to walk from school to where I lived just across the road. And they had a hedge. So you would look over the hedge and see them play.
And watch.
But you know that you're not supposed to go in there. People like the headmaster of the high school, and other senior personnel in civil service. And eventually, as we got older, we became members of the Nevis Club.
Okay.
And we used to play.
Okay.
You had people like, first of all, you had the Ginzy Moulton, the Ball Moulton, Marjorie Moulton still like today.
Yeah.
She was, to me, the greatest female player at that time. I think she was a tennis in like the end of the year. But she was pretty good. And I copied her in Darlington thing. And you have people like myself, and along the sergeant, and Tom Wills, we played along with them.
And Jimmy Swing was still playing?
Oh, Jimmy was the best still.
Okay.
He was the best. He died, I would say he died the best. Who would have surpassed Jimmy would be the two Webbs.
Okay. Anthony Webb and Stephen Webb.
They took the game to a higher level. But other than I love doubles champions.
So when you said doubles champions, you had like a Nevis tournament?
We had a tournament organized by the club.
Okay. Yeah. And you and Orlando became doubles champions. And of course, Jimmy Swing would have been the singles champion.
Well, I saw if they played, yes, because
he would have been.
There was nobody who could
beat him. And Marjorie Morton at the time you felt would have been the woman.
Yeah, I don't know if they play it though.
Yeah, okay. But you're in Orlando war.
Yeah. I don't think Marjorie.
Did you all ever cross paths with St. Kitts in terms of competing with St. Kitts? No, never.
The Kittitians took the game again to a higher level. They were very, very good players down there. And they were the name very bad. I don't think we thought we had reached the level where we could compete.
Okay. You just did it within yourself. Based on what happened then and what's happening now, do you think that there's hope still for lawn tennis on Nevis? I know Anthony Webb is trudging along and trying his best with some youngsters, but what are your thoughts if you were to give some advice?
Well, first of all, you have to deal with the mentality of young divisions. They have moved away from sport. When you look at cricket and netball, which were two powerful sports in Nevis, and cricket was what we depended on when we were down and out. And you talk to young people about cricket, they don't care. People are all taking up with phones, internet, alternative sports, whatever. It's going to take a big effort. You're going to have to select people, coach them, and work with them over a period of time. You have to do that for netball, you have to do that for cricket, you have to do that for tennis. No longer can you expect people to just get up and play sport. It has to be organized at grassroots level, at school level, at community level.
Okay. Finally, Mr. Parry, if you were to say make a move, would you also say that more courts need to be established, or based on what you just said, the education, the working with the youngsters before the courts, or you build the courts and try to encourage them to use the courts? Would you build more courts?
You have courts in Jessop's. You have a court in Charlestown.
One by the Charlestown Secondary School.
Yeah, I think you have in Gingerland. You should start by training people. Okay. And when the need arises, you can build courts.
Okay.
But it's like you have basketball courts all over the place and people are not playing.
That's right.
You have cricket fields all over the place and people are not playing. So you have to accept that
the mentality.
You got to do something to change all that. And I think it's all part of what's happening in the world. We tend to be so outward looking. We look at sports in America, we look at sports all over the place. We never seem to take an interest in our own sport, even less in this cricket. Sometimes I can't even get to see our players on TV. But I can see England, I can see Australia, I can see India.
That's true.
So it's a problem not just for St. Kitts and Nevis alone, but for the whole Caribbean.
But as an aside though, maybe sometimes it's good not to see West Indies. They give you heart failure, but that's another.
I could take it.
You could take it.
I'm a black man.
Walking with you.
I could take it. I said, when people say, but you see, you're back, I said, who is somewhere?
You can't back anybody else. You know, I'm shocked at seeing people in Nevis back in Australia.
Well,
like saying, I'm an Australian, I'm an Indian.
But you know, Curtis, it's a reflection on us and our identity. I believe in the schools. I was listening to a program a few days ago. We need to teach our people about us, about who we are, where we came from, what is important to us. The Jamaicans, you hear the Jamaicans, how they behave? We need to get that deep inside of us, have that Nevis pride, that St. Kitts pride, that national pride. And the best way to do it is right starting the kindergarten. Coming up. They might call it brainwashing. Everybody does it. Brainwashing is an important part of life.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Parry. As we wrap up this interview, of course, we look forward to lawn tennis once again taking off in Nevis. And I hope you have some pictures with you in Orlando. No pictures.
In those days, we weren't thinking.
Oh boy. but we thank Mr. Parry for his contribution to lawn tennis, and we look forward to the sport taking off once again.
I must mention a few names. Joya Clark was an outstanding player.
Of course.
Garrett Daniel was an outstanding player.
Yeah.
Those two guys
really good. Joya especially. Joya still plays, you know.
He still plays.
joyously plays there. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Clary. We look forward to lawn tennis once again taking off in this.
Thank you for interviewing me.
Thank you, sir. Well, that's our package for this evening. I am Curtis Morton, reminding you that you can watch sports if you're not fit. But to play sports requires fitness, diligence, and sacrifice. Have a good night.